Welcome back. We continue our Day of Giving special now with Bridges to Change, which is celebrating 21 years of lives changed. With me now is Dr. Hannah Studer, CEO of Bridges to Change. Welcome.
Hello. I'm glad to see you 2 years in a row.
I know, so glad you're back. So what is the mission of Bridges to Change? Remind folks.
Yeah, so our mission is to house folks who need the most support in our community. We provide peer support through lived experience, behavioral health care, and advocacy for folks. So we are kind of doing all of the things, and now 21 years.
I know, what an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Talk about lived experience and what that means exactly.
Yeah, lived experience, particularly for folks who have been in really challenging situations. So we're talking, Lacey, incarceration, we're talking homelessness, interpersonal or domestic violence, folks with substance use disorders and addiction, and mental health conditions. And so having staff with lived experience who understand what those experiences are like is life-changing for folks. And so many of our staff are folks who've been through our program. Our board of directors are folks with lived experience. And so we really see lived experience shaping who we are.
That's great. Let's talk about some of your programs.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Mobile Behavioral Health Team. What do they do?
Yeah, so our mobile behavioral health team is a team of social workers and peer providers who go out into the community and support folks who otherwise wouldn't make it to the office, Lindsay, right? I mean, Lacey, right? They can't make it to the office for a variety of reasons. And so we really see this mobile team going out to meet folks where they are, quite literally, whether it's in the streets, whether it's in a home and they can't leave for a variety of reasons. And so this team provides that care and that safety net for folks across our counties and regions.
And you also work with community corrections. Tell me about that team.
Well, our community corrections is our kind of our ethos. It's how we started. We started in 2004 with a really small reentry model of housing and peer support before peer support even existed in Oregon, right? The very beginning of this work. And so our corrections programming spans 4 counties now, 21 years later, and we are providing care and connection for folks who are returning home wanting to change their lives.
And something else that you do, low barrier stabilization housing.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like?
Yes, so low barrier stabilization housing is kind of in between shelter service and more formal programming. It is really the ramp on, I call it the on-ramp of service where folks can come into care. Maybe they're not totally ready to stop using substances quite yet. Maybe they're not ready to live in a more structured environment, and we are providing that on-ramp of care for folks.
That's great. You do so many things, and after 21 years, you must have some stories that you can share with us.
Yes. Well, I wanted to share a story of our Recovery Access Center. So that's that on-ramp program, right? We launched that program in January of 2024, so last year. And we had a woman come into the program 7 months pregnant. She was living outside her entire pregnancy up to that point. And through our service was able to get peer support, clinical support, case management, and she brought her baby home to a permanent living situation. She got her own apartment. So that is not only representation of 21 years of changing lives, but generations of change. So that's a really exciting story. I wanted to share, we also recently launched our Rockwood office. So we are now located in a small office in the Rockwood neighborhood, which is one of Oregon's most rent-burdened neighborhoods. So we are in this neighborhood now, providing service, and we are providing outreach every Friday, sack lunches and outreach supplies to the community every single Friday. And so that's an example of, it's not a funded project. We are just doing this project because we know it works, and we know folks want access to care. I was out a couple weeks ago doing outreach with the team, and 3 folks got into service that day.
Wow.
Just immediately into care with us.
That's great. And that is what your donations do, help
Yeah.
fund these initiatives. So
Yep.
tell people how they can donate, where their dollar is going to.
So we're celebrating 21 years of service. Again, generations of care, right, for Oregonians, thousands of Oregonians who've been impacted through our kind of spectrum of care. We are asking for monthly giving of $21 to celebrate our 21 years of service. It's going to outreach, it's going to housing, it's going to folks who are trying to change their lives through access to resource and connection, right? That's the most important part.
Yeah, well, you can sign up on their website if you want to make that $21 a month pledge to celebrate 21 years of changing lives. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for the important work you do.
Thank you.